Chapter 2 Mitchellworth. It's no fair that Ricky gets to come to our fort, which is supposed to be secret but isn't anymore because Ricky knows about it. And I'm not the only one who thinks it isn't right that we have to bring a tag along to our place. You know, I asked you guys about 20 times if I could tell Janelle about the fort, and you said no, Jason reminds everybody as we make our way through the woods along the trail. So how's it okay for this guy? No offense, Ricky. Evan, who's the second tallest of us after Jason, ducks under a broken branch that's hanging low. Fort rules, guys only. There are no fort rules, Jason complains. We just finished the thing like 3 days ago. Who's Janelle? Ricky asked. Romeo's got a girlfriend, CJ explains. Ricky frowns. I don't think I know her. Does she go to our school? Jason reddens a little. She's in the 7th grade, which is fine, he adds, his loud voice booming even louder. Girls mature faster than guys do. Well, I'm technically in 7th grade too, Ricky admits. They bumped me up to 8th when I moved to Canaan because I went to a special magnet school for the gifted where we used to live. You skipped? I'm outraged, my tone rising to a high note. You mean you just get to jump an entire year of school like it didn't even exist? CJ tries to put an arm around my shoulder. Take it easy, man. I shrug away from him. There's no such thing as taking it easy when the subject is school, the central torture of my life. I have to suffer and this new guy pops up out of nowhere and he gets a get out of jail free card on a whole grade? Well, only because Canaan Middle is a regular school, Ricky reasons. I mean, there's another magnet school over in Freeport. If I get in, I'm going to have to drop back down to 7th again. Everybody stops walking, and you can feel the mood change in the woods. It's like Ricky just called our school dumb, which means we must be dumb for going there. And calling people dumb is dumb. Not cool, man, CJ scolds Ricky. You don't have to rub it in our faces. It's not our fault your parents moved you from Magnetville to Stupid Town. I didn't say that, Ricky defends himself. I went to a magnet school. I'm applying to another one. Is that a crime? Well, if it isn't, it should be. I can't believe Evan's grandmother is making us hang out with this magnet-headed creep. Then again, Evan's grandmother is the scariest person I've ever met. Next to Jaeger, I mean. We start walking again, and nobody kills Ricky. I guess that means he's forgiven for being a little snot. By the others, not me. And as we hike deeper into the woods, I make sure to brush my elbow against the bark of every 7th tree, because 7 is my lucky number. None of the other guys that do that kind of stuff. It's an OCD thing. Dr. Breckenridge says it's my way of controlling part of my life to make up for the fact that I can't control the important things, like how my brain works, or mom getting laid off from her job at the Delacraft auto parts factory. I can't change the fact that now she has to work 3 jobs instead of 1. So I get obsessed with the things that I do have power over, like which trees I elbow and what song to hum while I'm doing it. Now that's assuming Dr. Breckenridge knows what he's talking about, which he probably doesn't. I don't go to him anymore, not because Dr. Breckenridge is a bad psychiatrist, but because Mom lost her health insurance when she lost her factory job, so we can't afford it now. I think it's pretty rotten of Dr. Breckenridge to drop me like a hot potato, but Mom says that nobody should have to do work without getting paid. So I guess I'm stuck with my problems. No big whoop. At this point, OCD doesn't feel like a disorder. It just feels like me. But still, I hate hating school so much because what kid has any choice about spending half of his life there? I was just working my way out of that when I got dumped. I heard that sometimes old Russian space capsules fall out of orbit and hit things on the ground. I hope one of them falls on Dr. Breckenridge's herb garden, which he loves so much. 5, 6, 7, bop. Well, anyway, Dr. Breckenridge didn't even get the control part right. The farther we get into the woods, the more storm damage we see. So what am I supposed to do with the trees that are bent over by wind or knocked down completely? Do I include those trees or not, huh? It's important because if I get one wrong, then the whole count is off. I hit the next trunk too hard and scrape my elbow. It doesn't hurt that much, but now I can't concentrate because I'm worrying that I might need a tetanus shot. And I can't dial 911 since my phone's busted and we can't afford to get it fixed. I'm sure one of the guys would let me use his, except Ricky. I wouldn't use his phone anyway. I'd rather die of tetanus. I have no idea what tetanus actually is, but it does sound scary. We're here, Evan says, and everybody stops. Ricky looks around. I don't see any fort. Evan indicates the stump of an ancient maple tree. The bark is gone, and the dead wood inside is being hollowed out by an army of termites. From this spot, we hang a left and march 26 paces off the main path. That annoys me. How many times do I have to tell you it can be 25 or 27, but never 26? Ricky is mystified. Well, what's wrong with 26? I'm disgusted. Don't they teach you anything in magnet school? 26 is 2 times 13. That's the unluckiest number. He stares at me. You have triskaidekaphobia. I do not. I have OCD. Triskaidekaphobia means you're afraid of the number 13, he persists. I'm not afraid of it, I retort. I respect it because I know it can kill me. All right, how about this, CJ suggests. I'll walk 25 paces, Evan will walk 27, and the fort should be halfway between us. Pretending doesn't work, I grumble. We all know it's 26, so it's still bad. We leave the path and push through the underbrush. I'm trying so hard not to count steps that I'm practically tap dancing. The other guys are used to me, but not Ricky. He's looking at me like I'm a clown. I'm not, you know. A lot of people have OCD. Adults too, not just kids. Maybe that Russian space capsule will bounce off Dr. Breckenridge's herb garden and land on Ricky. Not counting is almost impossible for a guy like me. And in fact, I'm almost up to 150 when Jason groans. Oh, our fort, adds Evan in true pain. The location was a perfect U-shaped recess in the rock, big enough for all 4 of us. We made a little roof out of old shower curtains from CJ's house, a little moldy, but totally waterproof. We attached them to the rock with railroad spikes and tied the front to 2 skinny trees that were almost like matching pillars for our grand entrance. The walls were formed by a piece of plywood on the left and an old no trespassing sign on the right. At least that's what it used to look like. It doesn't look like that anymore. It doesn't look like much of anything. The rock formation's still there. The stones we brought in to have as seats sunk into the mud from all that rain. The walls and roof are gone, blown away by the wind. A few pieces of the no trespassing sign, each about the size of a postage stamp, are scattered around at the base of a nearby elm tree. Strips of tattered shower curtain flutter from branches 30 feet up. And that's all that's left of our fort. I warned you guys, I told them resentfully. 26 paces is just asking for trouble. And now our fort's in the toilet. Jason shrugs. We can rebuild it. You know, bring a couple more shower curtains. CJ shakes his head. No good. Mom and Marcus switched to glass doors when we redid the bathroom. Evan sighs. Oh, what's the point? It'll just blow away with the next storm. Or get crushed by a Russian space capsule, I can't help adding. Once I get hooked on a subject, it's very hard to put out of my mind. Forget it, CJ decides. This is an X-fort. Hey, comes Ricky's voice. Hey, check this out. Now, in all the agony about our fort being destroyed by the storm, none of us had noticed Ricky drift away. That's because it isn't his agony, because it isn't his fort. Face it, it isn't anybody's fort anymore. Right now, our unwanted guest is about 20 feet behind us in what probably used to be a clearing but is now covered in underbrush. He's hacking at the ground with the heel of his sneaker. And then he drops to his knees and starts digging with his hands. What a weird kid. Evan is the first one over there. Will you cut it out, Ricky? If you come back covered in mud, my grandma's going to blame me. He glances down at the place where Ricky's digging and squats down right next to him. Suddenly, the 2 of them are scrabbling in the dirt together. Hey, get over here, you guys, Evan calls. He found something. I've completely lost my count, so I have no idea if this is good luck or bad.